So in this problem, first of all, we will understand like what we have to do in this question. So please go to this example that is being given in the question. So you will be given like in this question it is written that there are a group of 3 trainees, means each group contains 3 trainees appearing for the swimming test, and like you can think they have been given some oxygen. So after the training, whoever will the trainee, whoever is left with how much oxygen levels. So if the oxygen level is 70% or more than 70%, then they are qualified, or if it is below than 70%, then it is they are unfit. You have to return unfit. So you can read all these points what we have to take care while solving this question, or else I will explain using these inputs. So first of all, go to this example. So here we can see that trainee 1 in round 1 he is being left with 80% of oxygen, in round 2 70%, in round 3 60%. So we have to find the average of each round, oxygen level of each round. So if we find the average of each round, we will get 70%. So in the same manner for trainee 2 we have 90, 50, 60 and we got the average 66. Then in trainee 3 we got 60, 80, 70 and the average is 70. So here we have to find that who are the trainees who have the like largest or maximum oxygen level. So let's go to the input. So here you can see we have first of all one line 2 is given. So this means test case. So we have 2 test cases here. So first of all, first input is this much, and after that second input starts from here. So this line is given for first trainee for round 1, round 2, round 3. So you have to add all these numbers, then we have to get the average, and after getting average we have to compare whether it is greater than 70 or less than 70. And if it is greater than 70, then print trainee and that trainee number like 1 to 3. So if he is trainee 1, then print trainee 1 like this, here it is printed. And if it is below 70, average is below 70, then we have to print unfit. Very simple question it is. In another test case we can understand. Here we have only one test case, means only one input. So these 3 numbers are given of a trainee, means oxygen levels of a trainee in 3 rounds, that is 55, 56, 84. If we add these numbers, we will get after finding the average of these 3 numbers, we will get 65, which is less than 70. So here we are printing unfit. In second line for trainee 2, we have 94, 85, 76. So the average is 85 and it is more than 70%. So we have printed here trainee 2. For third trainee we have 12, 21, 34. Average is 22.33, which is less than 70. So we have printed unfit. And one thing also you have to take care that the oxygen level should be in the range of 1 to 100. It should not be 0 or in negative number, or it should not be in more than 100, like 101, 102. And if it is so, then you have to convert it into zeros. Like in this question, here we have been given 0, which is not allowed, then 101, it is also not allowed. So we have to convert it into 0. It is already 0 and we have to convert this 101 to 0. After converting, we have to find the average. So here you can see for oxygen levels the range is 1 to 100. Now we'll see how we can solve this problem. So this problem has been solved using you can say that in this problem we have been given one function fitness trainee. So in this function only we have to write our code. Okay, so this code is a bit long but it is very simple. So what we have to do is, in this function you will be given the matrix. So here the matrix is been given in the form of vector of vectors. So vector of vectors is also a matrix, like we write 2D arrays. So it is same as vector of vectors of int type, and it is a reference variable of that vector oxygen. And what this function will return, it will return an array of string. So here we can see the output. This array of strings should be printed. So for that purpose, first of all, what we will do, first of all, here it is written, means in this section what we are doing, that we are setting the values to 0 if the oxygen levels are below 1 or more than 100. So if there will be any condition like here it is, then we will set it to 0. So we are taking two nested loop. So first nested loop will like run up to 3, because every matrix will be of 3 into 3 size, that's why. So here we are checking the condition that if the oxygen level, so we are accessing the matrix elements using these square brackets ij. So if it is smaller than 1 or if it is greater than 100, then we will set it to 0. Okay. So if it is not, then there is no problem. So this code is only this, the purpose of this code is setting 0 whoever element is less than 1 or greater than 100. Now come to this section of this code. So what we are doing here, we are finding the average of these 3 numbers. So how we are doing here, we are taking 2 nested loops and we are accessing each elements like 10, 50, 30. Okay. So like we will start with the first row. So the upper loop demonstrate the row, and the inner loop demonstrate or represent the columns. This. So using means inner loop we can access the column. So here we are what we are doing, we have already taken one array average with the name average of size 3 and one string vector, means a string array which is answer to save the output. Okay, so what we are doing, and we have initialized it to 0. So all the elements of this average array or average array is being initialized with 0. So what we are doing, first we are adding each element of that row, means single trainee, we are adding, and we are again storing in that same position of that array, average array. Okay, so this will give the sum of these 3 rounds. After that, in this line we are finding the average of 3 rounds. So we have already got the sum which is stored here. You can also use a variable sum, and you can store in that variable if you are having any confusion. So you can store, we have already stored in this position, then we have divided with 3, and again we are storing the average in that same position of average array, same index. So with this section of code, with this part of code, we have found the we have found the average. Okay, so it will iterate up to 3 times and it will find the average of each rows, this row, this row, this row. Okay, and it will store at like a array. Now come to this part of code. So here we are finding what is the maximum average, means between the average of this row, this row, this row, which average is maximum. So we are taking one loop and we have an average array. So we will iterate through each element of that average array and we will find which element is maximum. So that will be the maximum average of our question, that test case. So first of all, we have taken one variable max average and we have initialized with 0. Now here we are checking that if average I means first index, if it is greater than max average. So max average we have taken 0. And what will be the average for this row, like 50 plus 10, 60 plus 30, 90 by 3, 30. So 30 is greater than 0, means max average will be 30. Again it will go to this position for this average. So here we have 90 plus 80, 170, then 30, 200, 200 by 3. That means approx 66. So if it 66 is greater than that 30, then max average will become 30. So with this code we will find the max average between all the 3 average. Now this is the last section of this question, this code. Here we will print the output. So first of all, we have the list of average in that average array, this average array. So we will iterate through that array and we will check whether if the average is less than 70, then what it will do, it will push this unfit message, this unfit string to this answer. What is answer? Answer is a string array which is declared a string vector, you can say that, array of string. So it is being pushed to unfit. Okay, and if that average is maximum, is equal to maximum, then again it will push to that same string array with this trainee message, plus it will add the position of that trainee, that is whether it is first trainee, second trainee or third trainee. So here it is written I plus 1. So I is being started with 0. So if it is first trainee, then it will add 0 plus 1, that is 1, that is trainee 1. So this code will push these messages in that answer array string or vector string. Then at the last we are returning that array string. That means this function fitness training will return this array string. So let's run this code. Actually I have not written this code, my code was getting some error. So all the test cases have been passed. So let's check for this test case. We have the output. Yeah. So it is correct. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 8 output has been came. See here, 1 output didn't came because for this trainee, the rounds for means the oxygen levels are beyond the range. That is, here it is 0, then 101. So this is not in the range. That's why here no any output has been printed. So this was all about this question.